The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Jackie Thompson is the ED and co-founder of Lifespin here in London. And Jackie, you and I have been at this aspect of life, fighting poverty, doing what we can for about a little over 3 decades each, which is interesting. We've known one another in that time, and yet we both kind of in many ways are forced to go into different directions into how we were going to handle it. How did you first get involved with Lifespin? How did that happen?
Well, in 1989, I was studying anthropology and women's studies at Western, and I came up with this idea for a thesis project through the social work department, actually, to fit with my women's studies course. Being a sole support parent mom, struggling in poverty, student loans, the whole gamut, to follow my own dreams, I became the touchstone person for anybody who was going through a separation, other sole support parents. Everyone would tell their friends or relatives, call Jackie, she can help talk you through it. So I was finding that I was spending more time talking people through stuff and getting my schoolwork done. So I decided that at that point I would start writing the answers down, typing them up. And so a manual started to be born from that, which turned into my thesis project, which turned into our first publication that launched Lifespin. It was a booklet called How to Get There From Here. And it was a self-help guide for sole support parents who were trying to look after their kids, build a life, fulfill their dreams, and get out of poverty. A lot of programs that were apparently there, like services that people could access, when they actually tried to access it, they would run into all kinds of other barriers. So the goal was to give people real information on accessing the services, and then a group of women went with me 2 by 2 out to the agencies that offered the services to try them out. And we came up with some pretty wild experiences out of that. So that book was published 4 times. And now we try to keep the resources up to date on our website at www.lifespin.org and make information available to people to change their own situations. Yeah. Some people need help and guidance through that, and we do advocacy to help folks who need it. But by and large, if people have the information is power, they can work through some of the issues themselves. And we do other publications now that zero in on some of the things that they need help with. So we did one right at the beginning of COVID on wills and powers of attorney. We had a lot of clients wondering what they would do if they got really ill. So we put together a resource manual with a wonderful pro bono team at Western through the Western Law Program. And then last year we did one on accessing assistive devices, because a lot of the folks that we serve are challenged by disabilities. And if they had access to some of those supports, they could return to work or just live better. Yeah. So that manual is up. And then next year, this September, we're planning on one regarding the Disability Services Office. We have clients who have severe behavioral or developmental disabilities, and they actually have DSO workers, but they have no idea how to get a hold of them or what services they can provide. So we want to pin down what they do and how to get them to do it.
Yeah. Yep, I think I've always seen Lifespin as the real deal. I think that's the best way for me to put it. I just think for us as a food bank, for instance, it just got so big so fast. I just felt that playing catch up the whole time. This is back in 1985, 1986. There was just so much going on. There was a recession, things like that taking place. And I was a real novice at what it was that I was doing. But it seems to me that Lifespin, and I've known about it, for a long, long time, you really work at the granular level. You really work with the people that are suffering under the constraints of poverty or really feeling limited daunted by it. And you really try to bring in forces to help those people on a day-by-day basis to meet the challenges, to move ahead. At a food bank, we don't do that. We just try to give out food to individuals and agencies, and that's it. But we're very much aware that that's a very superficial thing compared to what it is that you are doing. It's important what we do, but what you're doing is you're working in the trenches with the people, trying to help them navigate a system that's often quite contrary, and to help them through it. Was that your intention from the very beginning, to be at that granular level? As you saw poverty growing, is that where you were wanting to take Lifespin?
Well, Lifespin just kind of happened. Because there was a group of us working together, we set up our phones so that you could call forward back in the day of such devices. So we didn't have an office. We were just a group of people that tried to help each other. So, and to support and empower. If you're on your own, you don't always have that kind of help. So things like the free store were born from that. If you have a good family network, you're not on your own. You might get hand-me-downs from older cousins to hand on to your children. But if you were truly alone, you don't have that. So the free store was a way of sharing hand-me-downs on a city-wide level. So children could access clothing it's not always new, but it's generally used clean and in season. So the free store was born from that kind of just helping each other out. Our garden program, same thing. We have a pocket-sized farm program that we started in 1994. When we began the program, we did it at low-income schools. So we farmed with the children at the schools in the summertime, but that required a school contact person that would remain the same, and principals have to change schools every 5 years or so. So you wouldn't always have the support of the next teacher coming in. So at that point, we brought the pocket-sized farm program into our own backyard. And some of the schools still maintain the gardens where we started them, which is really nice. One turned it into a butterfly garden, one turned it into a spice garden. But we focused on moms who were on their own and trying to work when they had school-aged children. So between the ages of 7 and 10, they're too young to stay by themselves, but too old for daycare programs. So that camp provided all-day childcare all summer for moms who were working. And so again, that transitions, and I guess that's what Lifespin does really well. The big word during COVID was pivot, but we do change our programming to meet the needs of our clients. I find that, I don't know if it's just London, but a lot of programs are directed by what funding is available. And Lifespin doesn't operate on funding, we operate on donations. So we can very quickly address the needs that our clients have. So during COVID, we switched the program for the garden program into an online camp program, and we delivered manure and topsoil and seedlings and seeds to the children, and did crafts and story time and STEM activities with them online. And that continues today. So this will be our third year with doing that online. But what we found is, again, the population transitioned, and we now have 130 children registered in the program, as opposed to on-site, we could only do 15 to 20 kids. So we're serving a lot more families, and we're still getting together. So we have family outings with the kids in the nature park areas that we mapped out, also available on the website, where the families can come and meet with us. And meeting with families is really important because we get to hear about what people really need. Before COVID, we had community dinners where people would come in and learn how to cook a really low-cost meal. We'd cook it together, and then we'd sit down and break bread together so we could have that fellowship with each other and talk about real issues in their lives. And that's how we design our programs, is by what needs are not being met. If somebody else is meeting the need, we refer them to those programs. We do not need to recreate anything that already exists. We really try to innovate supports for people that are not being met in our community.
It's interesting. There is a parallel there between the food bank and Lifespin, in that we typically don't take funding either. We don't apply for government funding or anything like that. We know that's really needed elsewhere. Our stuff comes from donations, but just as you've said, I think that's really important. We've been able to ourselves change direction and have something of a renaissance in recent years because we had the funds because people donated them. We didn't have to go into an application process and wait for a few years to see if we would get the funding. The funding was there, so we could go out and just start changing some of the programs that we were running or directions that we were heading in. So things like greenhouses or depots around the city, those things were funded by the good people of London and the businesses of London. But the point is that we were able to just do it. We didn't have to go out there and ask for all of this permission and do it. And as great as that was, I think to be able to do it at the level that you're doing it, where people will come in and say, boy, I've got a problem with this, and you're able to make that shift and help the person in that's at a much more practical, I think, and pointed level than what the food bank is doing. And I think that's just really important. I think to become so dependent on funding, for instance, from one particular source or always having to apply, it often can take that quick movement that people need as they're going through difficulties. It can take that out of the equation, and it's difficult. How was COVID for Lifespin? When it hit and came on to you, what did you have to do there?
Well, you touched on something that was important. At the beginning of COVID, the great city of London was right on side with trying to come up with some solutions. Yeah. And they funded a lot of programs that enabled us to help people very quickly. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't these year-long application processes and food counting at the end of it. We were able to access dollars to get people food. And I know the food bank was able to do that and supported some of the work we were doing. We set up a program with On the Move Organics company to deliver fresh fruits, organic fruits and vegetables, supporting local farmers. We all know about the importance of sustainable farming practices and supporting our local farming. So we've continued that program, and their customers have come on side. So their customers actually continue to purchase 1/3 of the boxes that we distribute every month, which is yeah, it was a beautiful partnership that has just continued, and we did a welcome baby food box for our pregnant and nursing moms that we identified through the year. So we had 200 brand new babies coming, and we did a welcome baby hamper for them. The food bank donated us some baby food as well as diapers that we were able to put into the welcome baby hampers. And the On the Move Organics did a food box for them, and Growing Chefs did a baby food making workshop. Mm-hmm. Just enabling us to reach out and help each other, even as agencies, is really important. And I thank the city for doing that. That's over now, but it was a wonderful opportunity for us to network with each other on how to serve our community quickly and efficiently. One of the fallouts from that was working with Russia University. We worked with their global studies program, as did the food bank last year. And you gifted us with a greenhouse for our program. Yeah. And we didn't really have space for it here, but in Washtenaw, the Aboriginal Family Center did. So we set it up over there. Yeah. And they've pulled in some other partners around it. It was not ready for this year, but I'm sure it will be, like, they had it set up, but they have to deal with water and bugs and squirrels and things like that. Yeah. But it was the idea that you were able to do that, and very quickly it was a gift to the community to be able to help another group of low-income individuals start to grow food that will sustain them in a longer term. So we bless you for that, and we're so grateful that we were able to network together with other agencies around addressing those COVID needs.
And we have more of those if you need them, Jackie. We really believe in Lifespin, but also we have the green walls, which are also capable of growing in places where greenhouses don't go into. But really happy to work with you on that. I think there are some agencies that I know and that we work with who, during COVID, did get a fair bit of funding that came from various levels of government and elsewhere, and expanded in that time. But then the problem became, after COVID was done or was receding, some of that funding has pulled away. It has been withdrawn, and now they're stuck with these larger programs and are trying to figure out what to do about that. Did you encounter any of that, or were you able to stay nimble enough that that wasn't an issue?
Well, with the food boxes, there's no way that we could sustain the number of boxes that we were putting out during COVID. Yeah. But that was meant to address the fact that a lot of the folks that we serve were like pregnant or senior or disabled, and they shouldn't be going into the grocery stores where they were in danger of getting really sick if they got COVID. Yeah. So the numbers that we had to serve during that time were really high, and it was nice to have the funding available to do that. Yeah. But after the fact, Lifespin continues to serve low-income families that have disabled people and seniors. So it was donations that enable us, donations to Lifespin and donations through the organic customers. Together, we're able to continue to serve a group of that population that we still serve. So we're doing about 75 boxes a month now still. Mm-hmm. And those are for folks who just really still should not be going in places where they're at high risk due to their health. Yeah.
What is Houses for Homes? I've seen that on your website and other things. How is that? How does Lifespin run that?
Well, Lifespin has housing. We were over at the fire hall. Yeah, we met over at the fire hall, I remember, but we were doing the Green Market Basket then. So we were doing the food box program ourselves and getting food from farmers and distributing it. That was, again, in response to an urgent need. So the province cut social assistance rates by 21.6%. So we created the food box the next month in response to that. That changed over time, and we didn't need to do that for the whole city anymore. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we had was this beautiful old fire hall that we used for packing the food boxes. But what we were finding is that we have more and more clients in need of housing. There was just not adequate affordable housing for them. So we sold the fire hall and bought the site where we are now, which enables us to accommodate 10 apartments, residential units for folks who are in need of housing. And we subsidize that ourselves. It's not subsidized by the city. We offer really, really good rents for people, and they tend not to leave. So most of our tenants stay for a long time, decades, which is great because there's a real sense of community here and they help each other. So tenants that need more support to keep living independently, they have that in the sense of community that we've built here on site. We were gifted, someone bequeathed us $85,000 last year. And immediately we decided that we wanted to put that into building more affordable homes for families. The wait list in London's over 10 years, and there's not very much housing being built for families. There's a lot of development subsidies to add stories on buildings and give below market rents, which are 80% of market, which low-income people cannot afford. And they're short-term, so they're contracts of 25 years and they're single-bedroom units. So they're not touching anyone on that waiting list with that housing. It's sad. So we want to build some more housing that will house families. So we have now done a survey. It came through yesterday. And so we have a wonderful architect that's going to work with us and try to develop some more affordable housing units that keep that sense of community and give people a sense of dignity and pride in where they live. Yeah, that's really important. Just anecdotally, when you went into that fire hall, I was a firefighter at that time, and I was involved with negotiations behind the scenes because we knew that Lifespin was looking to go in there, but it was on Adelaide Street, right? Adelaide and Horton, correct? It was Adelaide and Hamilton Road, and it was owned by the city then, and they had it had a heritage designation for the facade, and they were doing street widening, and they were going to tear it down because they left the ceiling open with gaping holes and water. Literally, like, we ran sheets of plastic into buckets that we carried out every day until, like, it was insane. But they were going to tear it down, and a wonderful developer who owned the office, or was moving into the office where we were located on Queens Ave, helped us to negotiate with the city a fair market value, because the city had, as vacant land, it would be worth a lot more, but we argued that it was a heritage property, so it wasn't vacant land and they couldn't tear it down. So that developer really helped us to negotiate a good price for that.
I remember
property.
that really well. But I worked there for a number of years when it was a fire hall, and they always said there was a ghost in that place. You never discovered that, did you? You weren't talking about anything.
One of our board members, a native elder, did a feast for the ghost to help us. Yes, so we had a cleansing. Yeah, we had a cleansing ceremony and a feast to address the issues that we were facing with that in the fire hall.
That's fascinating. And also, you've got an impressive board, but your president is from the Indigenous community herself, right? And so I think, obviously, that aspect of it, of working with Canada's Aboriginal peoples and doing what we can to bring in some of the elements and lessons that they have as community into what we're doing. I presume you're doing that on purpose, right? Like many of us are, because there's so much to learn there.
And we have been doing that for a long time. We did actually, back in the days of Ipperwash and the uprising there, we actually went out and stayed on site at the camp and did a community garden with the folks there and set up a free store with them as well. So it's not something new. It's something that we've always done. Our community of low-income Londoners includes a lot of Aboriginal families, and that's really important that we stand and support social justice actions wherever they take place.
That's right. And I wasn't trying to imply that it's a new fad for you. I was aware of those days from the Ipperwash time, and that there wasn't so much the consciousness of things then that there is now, but you were in it when the times were very difficult. In the few minutes, we've only got 9 minutes left, but would you mind if we just talked about poverty for a minute? I mean, I've been at the food bank now 36 years. I've been through, I don't know how many recessions, just like you have, how many mayors, how many prime ministers, all that kind of stuff. And it seems to me that poverty and how we deal with it has really changed. And I remember when the food bank first got going, people were really surprised that there was poverty in London. And now we seem really kind of despondent that we don't seem to be able to do anything about it as far as getting rid of it, tackling the things that they really need to. How do you feel about that? You've been there for 3 decades as well. So how have you seen that kind of metamorphosizing over the years?
Well, there's been many changes, but a lot of the changes have come with a lot of political advocacy work by many organizations. So things like allowing families to keep their child tax benefits. That was a huge, huge difference to families that had children. Back in the 80s, poverty was a dirty word, and folks like you and Lifespin helped to make poverty visible in our community. A lot of people,
that's right.
It wasn't seen. It just wasn't seen. And I think we've done similar things with bringing housing to the forefront in recent years. We've done a number of reports to council, and the Free Press has covered them very well. Things like vacant housing in our community, derelict housing. It was unseen. So, and the fire department deals with that a lot. I went out to an abandoned house in Lambeth to take pictures, and I encountered a group of young children on their bicycles who were in looking at the burnt out building. The barn was burnt out, but the house was wide open with like broken glass, and like they were in there playing. Yeah, those are high risk properties, not just for a community, but it's also land, and it's also buildings that could be housing people. So I think we take a very narrow approach sometimes with affordable housing in our community. We have to broaden it to what resources do we have available in our communities. We don't want to house somebody in Argyle that works in Byron, and she has to take her children on a bus to daycare and then take a bus to Byron to work. it's not efficient. So it impacts on employment when we don't have the employment supports like housing available in the neighborhood where you work. So we have to have affordable housing in all neighborhoods. You want someone to look after your parents in an old folks home in Masonville, then you want to make sure that there's affordable housing there for the PSWs and the staff that are going to work in that nursing home to be there so that they have a quality of life that impacts on the care that they're going to provide your loved ones.
Jackie, do you get despondent?
Oh gosh, no. I don't have time. I get disappointed in the bureaucracy sometimes. It is disheartening. Like last week, we had Jess Helmer made a motion to council to look at the rent sync program and to investigate the cost of doing such a program in London. And all he asked for was for staff to do a report on like a business plan on how it would work for London, because the numbers that they proposed were astronomical and didn't match up with the population that Toronto does. And council turned it down. It's so simple. Some things are so simple and they just can't seem to get their heads around it, that there's some little tiny baby steps that you can make to give us the information that we need to make things better. So that kind of stuff is disappointing, but the coming together that we see and the people that help and the people that support us, like it's priceless. And last week I actually went on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with the board member, and we delivered the manure and the soil and the shovels to the families. We have volunteers, a whole bunch of them come on Thursday to deliver the craft kits, but my vehicle handled the poop that was very dirty, and I didn't want to put it in other people's cars. But I got to meet the moms and I got to meet the kids and hearing them and talking to them. And like one house we stopped at, we gave her the plants and she said, oh, I have some plants that I started that I'd like to share with the next family. So we ended up loading up more plants into my van than we dropped off. And it's building that sense of community that is so important, and we can help each other and lift each other up. And I think that's what we do best, is that we try to empower and support people to have better lives, for their children to have better lives, and break that cycle of poverty. Things like registered education savings plans, teaching low-income people about that's not a tax shelter for them, but it is extra money to put towards their children's education. And then it's not a question of, will you go to post-secondary school? It's where will you go to post-secondary school?
Jackie, thank you. When I call LifeSpin the real deal, I really mean that. I mean, I think you have the advantage of working really on the ground with people directly, and have, I'm sure you've grown yourself as a result. You've been challenged in all of those things. But, I really think it's important that London has groups like LifeSpin who, they're not trying to expand or get huge or whatever. They're trying to make sure that the people that they are trying to reach and help and give some light to have enough to get them by. And I just want to thank you for that. I mean, I think those are the kind of things, those stories need to be told more about what LifeSpin has done. And I know you don't toot your own horn, but I think it's really essential now that poverty seems to have become endemic in this country, and we don't seem to have the will to want to get rid of it at these big policy levels the way that we maybe thought were possible before. It really is you standing in the gap, and LifeSpin standing in the gap. We just really appreciate it as a food bank, and I think the community does as well. Jackie, thank you for doing all of that.
And likewise, we send many folks your way, and it's so important for them. Thank you for being that voice and the service that you provide.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks for all the hard work.
Thanks, Glenn.
Okay.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to out-of-market regular season games with all games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack. For only $35.95 a month, Rogers customers get all this for one all-inclusive price. Order using your remote starting on channel 431 or visit Rogers.com today.
Jeff from Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff. We're back for season 3. We've had the opportunity to see some great backyards and have some great barbecue. Join us, Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff.
This is Rogers TV.
The RTV Quiz Show! Yes, folks, you know what time it is. It's time for the hottest show on television, the RTV Quiz Show, the show where you sit back, relax, and enjoy some incredible trivia and edutainment. That's education and entertainment together. Edutainment, folks, all completely free of charge. Today's category, interesting category, continuing with our provincial theme. This topic is a province, Canada's only official bilingual province. You know what that might be? Well, if you said Quebec, you are wrong, monsieur. It is New Brunswick is Canada's only officially bilingual province because they just can't make up their mind. So here we go. Question number 1. What is New Brunswick's capital city? Question number 2, despite the Great Expulsion of 1755, New Brunswick's northeast has a large population of what descendants of early French settlers? Mull that over. The Great Expulsion. I survived the Great Expulsion of Room 1755 at St. Mary's Public Elementary School. Just a little episode we just called Nungate. Question number 3, which New Brunswick native became the first black player in the NHL? They just retired his number recently. Question 4, what Canadian multinational frozen food company was established in Florenceville, New Brunswick in 1957? You have heard of this company. You have heard of this company. Question 5. What New Brunswick school is the oldest English language university in Canada? Huh? Oh, fun fact here, a little clue. It says this university was established in 1785. So 1785, it's founded in New Brunswick, which means that the freshman year should be graduating right about now. So, a little slower there. Time for round 2. All right, round 2, the category is, you probably think the song is about you, don't you, don't you, don't you, don't you. Basically, these are about songs where the song title is about people's names. People's name is the answer of the song title. Question number 6. What 2000 song by Eminem and featuring Dido has become a slang term for die-hard fans? I know this. You don't think I know? I know all about Eminem. Listen, folks, I told my kids that Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time. They told me that's ludicrous. Question 17. What 1973 Dolly Parton single features the line, "I'm begging you to please don't take my man"? Come on. Who's gonna leave Dolly Parton? That's crazy. If you left her, 2 months later, you'd be suffering from postpartum depression. It was the only joke I could make the day we were up there. It was the Question number 8. What comes after the slash in the title of Tommy's Two-Tones 1981 hit, 8675309? 8675309. It's in the title. Oh, speaking of phone numbers, folks, the Canadian Mental Health Institution has just made an announcement that they're changing the phone number to the obsessive compulsive hotline to 1-888-888-8888, extension 3. Don't call that number. If you call that number, I think you still get Celino and Barnes. I think you still get. Question number 9. What 1998 song appeared on the soundtrack for City of Angels and became the Goo Goo Dolls' signature song? Goo Goo Dolls out of Buffalo. Oh, fun fact here. Fun fact just came in. The Goo Goo Dolls' original name was the Russian Dolls. They changed the name because they thought that name made them sound too full of themselves. Question number 10. What Abba song features the lyrics, "There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright"? What name comes after that? Name tag. All right, time for round 1. Round 1. Answers. The category was New Brunswick. Way better than the old Brunswick. All right. Question number 1 was, what is New Brunswick's capital city? The answer is Fredericton. Question number 2, despite the Great Expulsion of 1755, New Brunswick's northeast has a large population of what? Descendants of early French settlers? That's the Acadians. Question 3, which New Brunswick native became the first black player in the NHL? Yes, that was Willie O'Ree. Folks, I have to tell you something, man. When the pandemic first hit, do you remember that? So they didn't have NHL hockey anywhere. So instead of watching NHL hockey, I watched the parliamentary station a lot instead. And I have to tell you, it was a pretty good substitute because on the parliamentary channel, the senators suck too. So it's not much difference. Question number 4, what Canadian multinational frozen food company was established in Florenceville, New Brunswick in 1957? That was McCain's Food. Question 5, what New Brunswick school is the oldest English language university in Canada? That's the University of New Brunswick. Speaking of which, breaking news here. The University of New Brunswick Political Science Department has just completed a 17-year study examining what Canada and Mexico both have in common. Apparently, the number 1 answer is they border on insanity. Question number 6, what 2000 song by Eminem and featuring Dido has become the slang term for die-hard fans? That's Stan. It's a term for a die-hard fan. That's what cool kids are saying. Speaking of late-breaking news in the rap business here, apparently the rapper 50 Cent will be pairing up with a new female rapper called Marilyn Johnson. This female rapper will be going by the stage name 38 Cents. It's a wage gap joke, wage parody. Yeah, maybe you heard of it. It's been in the news. He's 50 cents, she's 38 cents. Don't use that one either. Don't make me look stupid. Question 17. What 1973 Dolly Parton single features the line, "I'm begging you, please don't take my man"? That's Jolene. Question number 8. What comes after the slash in the title of Tommy Two-Tone's 1981 hit, 8675309? What's that slash? It was Jenny's phone number. Question number 9. What 1998 sound appeared on the soundtrack for City of Angels and became the Goo Goo Dolls' signature song? The answer is Iris. Fun fact, I once dated a girl named Iris, and on her first date, she asked me to make out with her, but I had to disappoint her. I made out with her. Question number 10. What ABBA song features the lyric, "There was something in the air that night, the stars were bright, Fernando." And we'll be right back. Oh, don't go away, we'll be right back. Go on the RTV Quiz Show.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, I'm Dan Mailer. I'm the host of London Lights, the show where we talk about notable Londoners who have made a big mark, big impact on the world of music, entertainment, sports, politics.
Leonard Thompson, 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Starve the child to let them live. The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting.
This could be it. He's the first to receive this trial. But will it save him? It's not pure enough.
So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collip, and MacLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
Extreme hunger is surging in countries around the world. Conflict, COVID, and climate shocks are pushing millions of people to the brink of starvation. We can all do something to help. The Humanitarian Coalition is bringing Canadians together to fight global hunger. Please join us. Donate today at together.ca, and your donation will be matched by the Canadian government. That's together.ca. The Humanitarian Coalition. Together, saving more lives.
Welcome back to the RTV Quiz Show. Nice. Here we go. Round 3. The category is the Winter Olympics, or as I like to say, let's get ready to watch sports we don't care about. All right, just kidding, folks. I love the Winter Olympics. All right, all right. It's all the sports that would be way more entertaining if they were clothing optional. Just putting already. Imagine that. Imagine the luge. That'd be interesting. It would be interesting. Question 11. The Nordic combined event is a combination of 2 sports: cross-country skiing and what else? Cross-country. That's easy. It's cross-country skiing and napping. Napping. Question number 12. What Canadian figure skating duo were nearly robbed of a gold medal because of a judging scandal in 2002? Remember this Canadian figure skating? The French judge and the Russian judge tried to do some funny business. Was it A, Virtue and Moyer? Was it B, Moore, Towers, and Marinero? Or was it C, Poje and Weaver? Was it D, Saleh and Pelletier? Question 13. In what sport do racers slide down an icy track head first while reaching speeds of up to 130 kilometers an hour? Why? It's got to be sponsored by Labatt's. How many beers do you got to drink before you decide to go head first down a racetrack at 130 an hour? Oh, they wear helmets. Oh, that's good. That's good, because when you smash, you don't make a mess all over the ice. All this stuff gets contained in a nice... That's very courteous. That's not good, you know. It's good for the environment. Question 14. Where was the first Winter Olympics held in 1924? The very first Winter Olympics. Was it A, Lake Placid, USA? Was it B, Chamonix, France? Chameau, France. C, Oslo, Norway. Or D, Calgary, Alberta. He already said. He said Athens. The first Winter Olympics. Yeah, I'm sure Socrates is, is on the bobsled. He's like, we're going like, I'm sure that's cross country. How do you cross country ski in those ropes? What? Question 15. What nation has the highest total medal count in Winter Olympics history? One country has more Winter Olympic medals than any other country on Earth. This is interesting. This is interesting. I did not know this. Right, time for round 4. The category is natural landmarks. Natural landmarks. Question 16. The world's largest coral reef system is located off the coast of Australia and is known as what? As what? Folks, I have been to Australia. It's a beautiful place. I really recommend you go. I had a little trouble crossing the border there. I got to the border and the Australian border guard said, "Do you have a criminal record?" And I said, "I didn't know that was still a requirement to get in." History joke. Used to be a penal colony. Like they sent the criminals there. England used to, and then so he didn't laugh either. He didn't laugh. Question 17. What salt lake is located in the Middle East? It is the deepest hypersaline lake in the world, and its density makes it easy for swimmers to float. What's that called? Oh, speaking of floating, I had someone come to my door the other day and ask me for a donation to build a neighborhood swimming pool. So I gave him a glass of water. Question 18. What river carves through the center of the Grand Canyon? Is it A, the Colorado River? Is it B, the Mississippi? Is it C, Rio Grande? Or is it D, the Ohio River? Ohio River. Which one? That's through the Grand Canyon. Is it A, the Colorado River? B, the Mississippi? Question 19. The world's tallest interrupted waterfall, Angel Falls, is located in what South American nation? What's up? The tallest uninterrupted waterfall. I don't know what that means, uninterrupted. It means it's probably not male. That's what it probably means. Question 20. What big attraction is made up of 40,000 interlocking basalt columns and located on the coast of Northern Ireland? It's all these columns that look, but it's natural. Good luck. All right, time for round 3. Round 3 answers the category of the Winter Olympics. Here we go. Question 11. The Nordic combined event is a combination of 2 sports, cross-country skiing and taking a nap. No, ski jumping. Because it's cross-country and ski, because you have to jump over the guys who took a nap. Question 12. What Canadian figure skater duo was nearly robbed of a gold medal because of a judging scandal in 2002? Was D, Salé and Peltier. Salé and Peltier. Question 13. In what sport do racers slide down an icy track headfirst while reaching speeds of up to 130 kilometers an hour? That's called the skeleton. To make this sport, more attractive. They call it the skeleton, because that's what's going to happen to you if you compete in this event. It's so stupid. Question 14, where were the first Winter Olympics held in 1924? That was Chambly, France. Chameau, France. Question 15, what nation has the highest total medal count in the Winter Olympics history? That was Norway. Question 16, the world's largest coral reef system is located off the coast of Australia and is known as what? It's known as the Great Barrier Reef. Fun fact here, folks. Australia's biggest exports is boomerangs. It's also their biggest import. Question 17, what salt lake is located in the Middle East and is the deepest hypersaline lake in the world? That's the Dead Sea. Fun fact, folks, it's also the nickname for my waterbed. Question 18, what river carves through the center of the Grand Canyon? That's the Colorado River is the answer, Colorado. Question 19, the world's tallest uninterrupted waterfall, Angel Falls, is located in what South American nation? The answer is Venezuela. Question 20, what big attraction is made up of 40,000 interlocking basalt columns located in Northern Ireland? That's called a Giant Causeway. Yeah. If you want, you can look it up right now. And when you look it up, just be prepared to be extremely disappointed. That's all right. Neither giant nor a causeway. And it looks like a bad interlocking brick job. Folks, don't go away. We'll have more RTV quiz show coming up right after this.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more. At St. John Ambulance, we do more than save lives, we change lives.
My name's Ranger M, and I work at Catfish Creek Conservation Authority. I'm the community outreach technician, and that means I do a lot of this, chatting about all things nature and conservation with kids, adults, teachers, everyone. I love to knowledge share, and that's just what I'm going to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
To be the new host of LDN ONT TV. Join me and my guests as we discuss the topics trending here in London, Ontario. Tune in Thursdays at 6:30 only on Rogers TV.
Most people that have received treatment for drug use problems are probably going to have a lapse.
Join addictions counselor Dean Anderson for Invisible, Breaking Through the Stigma of Addiction on Rogers TV.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
RTV quiz show. All right, welcome back, folks, to round 5. And round 5 is special because it's double. I repeat, double point answers. All right, the category is JK. Not the classroom. The all answers contain the letters J and K, but not together. J. I never understood that. JK graduation. This is these big graduation ceremonies for kids who graduate JK, and they get like awards too, right? Oh, and the award for eating the most glue goes to Elmer. Elmer, that's fantastic. Elmer, would you like to say a few words? Thank you. Question 21. Jack Link's is a brand of what dehydrated meat product? Remember, it has J and K in the answer. Oh, fun fact, folks. Speaking of dehydration, it looks here that the scientists at the University of New Brunswick have come up with a pill designed to cure dehydration. Apparently, you take these pills 4 times a day with 8 glasses of water. Question 22. What was John Red Pollard's profession? He and Seabiscuit competed together 30 times. What was the profession? Has a J and a K in it. Question 23. What pedestrian offense comes with an average fine of $35 in Ontario? It can be found under Section 144 of the Highway Traffic Act. What are the name of that offense? Question 24. The striped tuna, or Arctic bonito, is more commonly known by what name? By what name? It's a striped tuna. It's not like the regular tuna, it's striped. Like, you know, I've always wondered if whenever police dogs get near, like, just regular dogs, whether they stay like, or like, hey, shh, it's a fuzz. No sniffing. Bury that, bury that, bury that. Question 25, what is the name of this arboreal mammal found in Central and South America? Here's a picture of it right here. Already, I don't know what this is. I've never seen one. I never heard of it, but I can tell you right now, I don't like it. Like, whatever you do, don't get one of these. I know it looks cute, huh? But this is a high maintenance pet. You know how I can tell? Look at its nails. Huh? Look at that. That screams high maintenance. You're gonna be in the salon 3 times a week, and they're gonna get you for the extra acrylic coat, $16.95, and then she's gonna want a little sparkle over here, and then this color's gotta be different than the rest for some stupid reason, and as soon as you take it home, you know, the first thing, first banana it opens up, it's gonna snap a nail. Then it's gonna want to retouch. Forget it. Don't get one of these. All right, it's time for the JK answers. Here we go. And question number 1. Jack Link's is a brand of what dehydrated meat product? Jerky. Actually, folks, it's really easy to make beef jerky at home. All you do is you need a cow and a taser. Question 22. What was John Red Pollard's profession? He was a jockey. Question 23, what pedestrian offense comes with a $35 fine under Section 144 of the Highway Traffic Act? That's jaywalking. Question 24, the striped tuna or the Arctic bonito are more commonly known as what? They're common skipjack tuna. You know, the old skipjack tuna. Question's a little harder, folks. Question 25, what is the name of this monstrosity, this animal here? It's a kinkajou. A kinkajou, also known as a honey bear. See, I told you, high maintenance, honey bear. Folks, till next time, huh? Be safe, be calm, and be nice.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Mario Elia, and I'm the host of a new show here on Rogers TV that we're calling Keeping London Healthy with Dr. Mario. So tune in Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. and we'll see you then.
Hi everyone, my name's Ranger M. I love to knowledge share, and that's just what I'm going to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time?
Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium